Our area is in the peak of mosquito season, and with that comes an increased risk of infections. Actually, 5 people so far in Harris County alone have developed West Nile virus, and so far more than 400 samples of mosquitoes in traps across Harris County have tested positive for West Nile. Joining me to discuss is Dr. David Persse, Chief Medical Officer with the City of Houston, to talk about West Nile and the severity of West Nile, because Dr. Persse, I think even what wastewater samples are showing us is that some people might have a very mild form and never even be tested for it, while others can get very, very sick, right?
Yeah, good morning, Haley. And you're absolutely right. You know, with West Nile virus, there's good news, bad news. The good news is that most people, about maybe 75% of people, if they become infected, they'll either have no symptoms at all or really mild symptoms, okay? The bad news is that there's about 25% of people who are going to get feeling miserable. They're going to get like we call flu-like symptoms, body aches, fever, skin rashes, maybe swollen lymph nodes, and they'll just feel a little bit kind of crummy. But then 1% of people are going to get really sick, and this is when the infection gets into the brain and causes either encephalitis, which is a inflammation of the covering of the brain, or of the brain itself, and then meningitis, which is an inflammation of the covering of the brain. And about 10% of those people are going to die from it. So the percentage is low, but it's not zero, tragically. And so about 1 to 150 people are going to develop really severe neurologic symptoms, and even if you survive it, you can go on and have permanent neurologic problems, lifelong problems. And that's going to present initially. It's going to have a fever, headache, your neck may be stiff, you may be confused, and it's going to be really difficult for your family members to try and figure out what's going on. So when you get strange symptoms like that, it's important that people get their family members to the hospital and get them evaluated. Yeah,
good advice. Is there anything, though, that we can do to prevent an infection from a mosquito-borne illness?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a vaccine that will work for West Nile virus. I'm sure that there are companies that are working on that, but nothing yet. The best thing to do really is to prevent yourself from getting bit by the mosquitoes. And of course, none of us like getting bit by mosquitoes, even if it's a regular old mosquito that doesn't make you sick with anything else. It still causes that, mosquito bite that itches. And so really you want to avoid the mosquitoes. And there's 2 ways to do that. One is with a mosquito repellent, right? And we recommend that people that use mosquito repellents have DEET, D-E-E-T. That for adults, people above the age of 10 or so should, use full DEET. Now for kids, they need to use when it has less than 10% DEET, and never put DEET on babies. So there's 3 Ds we talk about: DEET, drain, because you want to drain all those standing water things around your house, the flower pots, the dog bowl, whatever it is, got standing water around your house. This is where mosquitoes will often breed. One of the big problems we have is in some neighborhoods, people dump things like in an empty lot, and there's tires in there, and mosquitoes love to breed in tires. So while not be your property, if there's standing water in those empty lots near your house, you might want to go over there and start dumping that water. And then the 3rd D of the 3 Ds is drain, DEET, and the 3rd one is dress. Wear long sleeves, long pants when you're outdoors. That also protects you from sunburn, by the way.
Yeah, good advice there. West Nile is a virus, so could it be like other viruses where we develop an immunity to it?
Yeah, I said there's good news, there's bad news. The other one little bit of good news about West Nile virus is that should you become infected with it, we believe that you have lifelong immunity. That's probably for most of us. Again, people who are elderly, got immune systems that are a little aged, you may get waning of that immunity. But for most younger, otherwise healthy people, we believe that if you're infected once, you probably then have lifelong immunity. But you know what? That's not really a good way to protect yourself. You're better off with the 3 Ds: drain, DEET, and dress.
A healthy person who might have gotten over West Nile would have maybe just had like a headache, a fever. Maybe they didn't know it was West Nile. Is there any way to know if you ever had it? Is there any antibody test for that?
Yeah, so there are tests. They're not commonly found. You can talk to your doctor about it. And I'll be honest, I don't even know if they're expensive or not. But there are ways to get tested for that. It's not commonly done, but you could. That's what I would tell you.
No, I think that's really interesting. Dr. Persse, thank you for your time this morning. Always good to share that information about West Nile, especially since we know that it's in our community right now.